What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Blazers Uprise postgame show. The Blazers take a 1-point loss to the Los Angeles Clippers tonight. They had a controlling lead in the final couple of minutes, but the Clippers end up going on a run. The Blazers end up choking this game late. There was some things to like. Honestly, the only notable one that really stood out to me was we played some aggressive defense down the stretch, and it was pretty effective, I thought, there for stretches in that fourth quarter. But overall, this team has to figure out a way to beat good teams. Now, we didn't have Dame, we didn't have Nurkic, but the Clippers had their own injury issues. They didn't have Kawhi, they didn't have Ibaka. That kind of cancels out, in my opinion. So, it was nice that they were able to play a competitive game and actually hold the Clippers below like 125 points, since this team always goes off against them. But it just makes the loss a little bit tougher when they seemingly have control and then the lead goes away. Eric, what were your thoughts about that fourth quarter, kind of when we built our lead and then when we lost it?
Well, real quick, it's already been announced that Dame is playing tomorrow, and Nurk is likely back tomorrow too, so just wanted to get that out of the way right away. And then as far as the game goes, I feel like this, effort-wise, was one of our best games of the year. We could talk about some of the missteps and, bad shot selection at times.
Yeah.
But I felt like overall, I don't think this game was a case of I thought they didn't bring it tonight or weren't as wanting of the game or a win as the Clippers were. I felt like it was pretty competitive, and I'm glad they at least showed some effort and heart, and it just sucks that they couldn't get the victory to show for it. But yeah, I felt like there's a lot less to complain about this game in terms of the effort level that we've seen against, say, Charlotte last game, where it was non-existent at times in the first half especially. I felt like a lot of the players that played in this game left it on the floor tonight. It was just too bad they couldn't get a W.
Yeah, I just think it's sad, though, that the bar is that low. Whereas, they tried, they played hard tonight, they gave effort. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I agree, I don't disagree with you at all. It's just like, the effort they gave tonight should be a consistent thing. But it stands out like a sore thumb. It's like, oh, wow, they really gave effort tonight. That shows how bad it is in other games in terms of their effort level. They came out here and played hard. Nas played hard. Rondae Hollis-Jefferson plays hard. He played 24 minutes. And, those guys were on the court in crunch time. And I saw some people complain about, Rocco not playing in crunch time. I thought Rocco should have definitely been in over Melo in that situation. I'll talk about Melo in a second. But regardless, I thought, playing RHJ with how I thought he played very well on, the defensive end, but then offensively 2 for 3, had 3 assists, had 6 rebounds, and 4 of those were offensive. I thought RHJ had a very solid game tonight and deserved the minutes that he got with his play on the court. I thought Nas played really well. He had 7 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, a block, played some good defense. So as far as the rotations go, I don't really have an issue with that, other than Carmelo Anthony, right? People seem... I don't know. Do you want me to talk about this, or do you want me to wait? Because I got a little bit of a bone to pick.
I figured this would be a hot topic tonight, but let me just say, in terms of the effort level, before you get into Melo, I'm not like oh yeah, they moral victory type thing or whatever, but I mean, I know the Clippers were missing Kawhi and some of their other starters, but I don't know, when you don't have Dame and CJ or Dame and Nurk. This is what the effort I want to have. They could have and should have probably won this game, which is the disappointing part about that effort. But I feel like anytime you go into a game without Damian Lillard and Yusuf Nurkic, that you just want to see them at least bring some effort and not just show up and think they've already lost like it seemed to be in some of the previous games that they played. So Uh, it's hard for me to get too mad about it. I guess I'm taking. You're going to be me tonight, and I'm going to be you, I guess, after the Boston game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's hard to get too mad about them blowing the game, even though it's extremely disappointing that they don't have a W to show for it.
Yeah, I just thought, like, defensively, it was a well-coached defensive fourth quarter. I thought we took some terrible shots in this game. And I thought when we worked for good shots,
yeah.
when we worked for good shots, we got really good shots. That's why we were still able to score 112 points. But CJ McCollum and Carmelo Anthony both took some terrible shots tonight. And honestly, down the stretch, it was more Melo than CJ. Melo took some awful shots tonight. He made a couple awful shots. I thought I don't know. Here's the thing. When Melo gets going, it's like, good, okay, Melo's hitting some shots. But sometimes it's like he starts feeling himself, and then he is just jacking up anything he can. And that's what I felt like the fourth quarter was. And it was him shooting some bad shots, missing a ton of shots. He had a little hot stretch where he made a couple shots in a row and then just started jacking everything up. And it wasn't good for the offense. And, CJ has those moments as well. CJ 11 for 26 tonight. Carmelo 5 for 18. There's some Melo stands trying to say Melo played a good game tonight. Nah, he shot 5 for 18. He shot very, very poorly and forced a lot of shots, in my opinion. So I thought the shot selection, it's not just Melo, it's not just CJ, but like primarily those two guys. They settled for some shots that had me kind of pulling my hair out because when we worked for good shots, we genuinely got good shots.
Yeah, so it's frustrating too because CJ hits a three and then he takes probably the worst shot of the game was that like running three fadeaway at like almost banked in, but like that was not a good shot.
But like Stotz could call situation. A damn set there. You know what I mean? It's just like we stagnated real bad the last 2 minutes. It was.
But then like as people mentioned in the chat, I think it might have even been the next play. So they do call a timeout, and CJ drives and kicks it out to Norm in the corner, who's wide open. I think he actually got his man screened. So I think it was a design play for Norm, which I absolutely love in that situation. And Norm just missed the shot. So it's hard to like get too mad about that because I thought, despite how bad the play was before that, the Powell three was a great look. I do love Powell driving a little more in those situations, so maybe not. Maybe don't have to settle for a three in that situation, but we clinched the game
that.
Right there. If he
I'm
makes
fine with
that shot.
I'm fine with that shot. I don't know. It's like it's frustrating when this is what frustrates me. When the team works for a good shot, they get good shots and they're efficient shots. And then one guy will make a tough shot and then start feeling himself and just hijack the offense. That's what I kind of felt like CJ and Melo did at times. And that stuff just frustrates me. And I felt like that's what it was in the fourth quarter for stretches with Melo and CJ. And I feel like if that doesn't happen, we win this game.
See, my problem with the Melo situation, once again, so he makes those two shots, right? Including that one where he pump fakes and then like has some fancy dribbling and then hits a hard turnaround, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the next three plays, we put him on top and just try to pass him like in the Nurk high post situation, But it wasn't like there was no one moving around him. It was just like give the ball to him and then.
Well, this would also apply to CJ too, I think, right?
Yeah. And then that didn't work, so he would pass to someone and then go set a pick for him and then get switched onto a smaller guy. But he would post him up like free throw line extended almost to the 3-point line, and they were trying to get the ball, and the smaller guy was fronting him, and then they send a double team. And I just felt like we're doing such a disservice if we're going to play ISO ball like that or just like give the hot shooter the ball to like give him the ball in like the worst possible positions on the floor. And this is why I always go back to a team like Phoenix, who we have a couple of the Phoenix guys in here right now. They, in those situations, have guys like Chris Paul and Devin Booker, who would come off a little curl screen and get a free throw line jumper wide open, versus us trying to pass to Melo being heavily guarded and then have him having to make like a fadeaway shot, and then one possession he gets double teamed and has to waste a timeout. That was maybe a valuable thing we needed to save for later. And I just feel like we do such a disservice to those guys to put them in such a tough position to make a shot. And the problem is they can make it, and Dame makes those shots. CJ, I take CJ making that game-winning shot at the end. I mean, I'll take that almost every time. I mean, he's going to make that quite often. And I mean, I trust Melo in the clutch, I guess, if he's getting clean looks. But like, just to have to hit these contested shots with the defense keying on you, and the defense expects you to go to Melo in those situations or to go to CJ in those situations, and they're selling out to stop those guys, and we have no counter in our offense to do that. It's been that way since the Pelicans series 4 seasons ago now, and we just don't do anything to make life easier on our players, whereas Paul George gets to the rim like 3 straight times or something in the final minutes and draws a foul and does this other stuff. And it's just, I just wish we would put our players in a better position.
I saw multiple jumpers that were early in the clock and contested from Melo that were early in the clock, and there's no excuse for that. Like, I get what you're saying in regards to, maybe shot clock winding down or us throwing it into Melo in the post and but there was multiple times this game he's just jacking up a contested long 2 or 3 with a hand in his face with like 15 on the shot clock.
Right. I'm particularly talking about like the fourth quarter after he hit those couple shots. So the rest of the game, yes, they take bad shots. But like, I feel like we're not even setting up our offense right, even if we want to give those guys good shots. Like, it's not really possible.
I mean, we're not, but work for, like, yes, I agree with that. But if there's 15 on a shot clock, you don't have to shoot that shot still.
Yeah.
So like, there's multiple times where CJ and Carmelo are just shooting contested threes, shots they could get at any point in the shot clock.
Right.
But they shoot it with 16 on the shot clock. And I hate that, because when we worked our offense, I generally thought we got quality shots, the whole, I don't know.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, Hollis Jefferson 2 for 3, Nas 3 for 7, Simons 4 for 8. He had a couple tough shots, but he had it going. Canner 4 for 4, Norm Powell 10 for 20. Like, we had areas of stagnancy, but I felt like when we just moved the ball and just worked things out in freelance, we were able to play off each other pretty well. So that's why I'm not really using that as much to excuse some of the shots they're taking. In a game where we're super stagnant, I understand it more because we're not going to get much better, but I felt like when we worked the ball, we generally got good shots, which just made me extremely frustrated when you have 2 guys that were shooting contested jumpers early in the shot clock.
Well, I'll just say in Melo's defense, I agree. He took some terrible shots in this game, just like you mentioned CJ did as well. But he did have 4 assists, and he did have a couple of nice passes where he would get the ball in that situation and you think it's going up, but he found Simons a couple times in the corner for wide open threes. And those are the possessions you like to see. And what you're talking about is move the ball around, find the open guy, and then if that doesn't work or he's not open, then you can always give it back to Melo towards the end of the shot clock. But so it's frustrating because he hits those 2 shots in a row, and I hear see all the Carmelo Anthony apology forms and stuff, and I'm looking, he's like 4 for 16 corny at that point or something. It's like, okay. All right. I don't see anyone else getting that type of behavior over when they hit 2 shots when they were like 2 for 14 prior to that. But
yeah, I mean, him with those 4 assists makes me even more frustrated that he's settling and jacking up those bad shots, though, because he can pass better than than it seems like he can. So there's even less reason for him to be forcing that. It's make a play. Don't settle for that. Try and attack. Get closer. Maybe you can get to the rim. If not, maybe you can draw a second defender, make a pass. That type of stuff. And that's the same thing with CJ. That's what's frustrating is you have a number of guys have efficient nights from the field. We didn't shoot the best from the 3-point line, 32%, 14 for 44, but we shot 45% from the field. I think we shot probably, let's see, let me do some quick math here. We shot 56% inside the arc, 28 for 50. So, I mean, when we didn't settle, we got good looks. And that's what was frustrating me the most about this game. And then what also frustrates me is like Norman Powell missing one corner three, and you have people try and say, oh, well, CJ and Melo feel like they got to do it because Norman Powell just ain't clutch. Like, bro, the dude is one of the best corner 3-point shooters in the league. I bet you next game, that same shot, very, very good chance he makes it. That's just a narrative That's just a narrative that's being used to excuse Melo taking some bad shots. Oh, he has to do it because Norman Powell ain't clutch because he missed that three. Like, what? That logic doesn't even add up to me.
And I thought Norm, at times in this game, kept us in the game with some of his drives and physicality getting to the rim. When our shots aren't falling, we weren't shooting the three particularly well early on, or in the third quarter too. And then, because if he makes that three, he's 4 for 10 from three, and that's 40%, and he's like 11 for 20 from the field, so he's above 50% shooting with 40% from three, and we're talking about how great of a game it was. So it's frustrating that it comes down to one shot like that. And yeah, I'll trust him getting that shot almost any time, just like CJ's shot.
I just hate using one guy missing an open three to excuse players taking bad shots. That's no. You live with the result with that Norman Powell three. You don't live with guys shooting up contested jumpers with 15 on the shot clock.
Let's get to some of these donos before they disappear.
Yes.
Real quick. RT Shaggy Squid, what's up, man? He was giving us crap for not tweeting during the game, but I was watching the first half from work, and it's kind of hard to tweet while I'm watching because it slows down the computer. But yeah, he says Melo 5 of 18, Norm and CJ combined 6 for 22 from three, adding Cantor's defense, and we still only lose by 1. This is a win in my books, LOL. Ant is a beast.
Yeah, Ant's been playing well. It's good to see. It's good to see. Appreciate it.
I thought he played well in defense at times in this game too.
3 steals in the first 4 minutes he played, or something like that.
Still, I mean, one-on-one individual, he still gets beat a little too often. He's got to find a way to keep his man in front of him, but I thought his off-ball defense was pretty good tonight.
Yeah, part of that might just be still getting a little stronger for him. Could help him in that regard. And then the second dono is from Lil Bakel. $2 dono says, I'm worried us losing will destroy our effort tomorrow. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this team's effort is so up and down. What's silly is it should be consistent, but it's like this is kind of a tough game, and then we got to play Denver. I mean, Dame will be fresh. Nurkic should be fresh. So hopefully those guys come out playing with energy and kind of set the tone in that regard. I think Nas will consistently play with energy. Rondé Hollis-Jefferson will consistently play with energy. Derrick Jones Jr. should be able to provide some energy. I mean, we got guys on this team that should provide energy. The games where the whole team just lacks energy make no sense to me, because you look down this roster, it's not like you got a bunch of guys who you would question their energy individually. It's just kind of a team-wide thing that just happens randomly. I can't explain it. That could happen tomorrow against Denver. If that does, we're likely losing that game. We got to come out with energy tomorrow if we're going to beat that team.
Mm-hmm. And, thankfully we'll have most of our guys back, but this is a situation where, I mean, this could free fall if we aren't careful and don't win some of these games. So I think we need a win tomorrow, and I think we need to come out and play strong and just get a victory, not only for the standings but just for this team's morale and moving forward. And I hope, like you said, they come out and play the right way and not revert back to how they've been playing just because they didn't get the victory tonight. I hope they are hungry and feel a little mad that they let this one get away and take it out on Denver.
Yeah. Shout out Andrew Miller, $5 dono, says Nurk gonna play 15 minutes and then rest for 2 games. LOL. Yeah, I want that dude playing 30 minutes a game. I am cool with them taking it slow though. At the same time, I just want that dude out there on the court. And I want to give him a chance to like get a true rhythm going into the playoffs.
What's up, Andrew Miller? How you doing, man? And yeah, I don't know how long the not playing in back-to-backs will last, but it's kind of weird that they've been resting him on the first night of back-to-backs. I guess they didn't expect to win this game, but they rested him against the Clippers last time. I made a joke earlier that maybe they're just trying to save Nurk against the Clippers for the playoffs or something, because we're likely to match up with them at this point. But yeah.
I mean, if we play Nurkic in the playoffs, I want to see him hedging and trapping and kind of the same defense we ran in the fourth quarter. I mean, did you like the way we were conducting our defense the fourth quarter? What were your thoughts about that?
I really liked it a lot until like the last couple possessions. I felt like we CJ switched automatically a couple times, and we didn't need to. I felt like Hollis Jefferson was going to fight through those picks and be fine. He didn't need to switch. And I thought he was kind of mad that they switched.
It's just lazy. It's lazy.
Yeah, I just wish it's unnatural for CJ because, you know, he hasn't done it. But, like, all he has to do there is hedge like he's a big man and just keep George in front of him long enough for Hollis Jefferson to recover. And I like RHJ in an isolation situation much more than I like Paul George going at CJ in those situations. But
it's just lazy, man. It's like you trap all quarter long and it has pretty good success, and then final possession you switch and then you foul. It's poor situational defense. And the thing is, this team has a history the past couple years of playing poor situational defense. That's also why I was frustrated with this loss. Is like you have to get one stop. You've been playing a scheme that's been working. You've been trapping. You've been rotating well behind that. You know, the possession where Reggie Jackson hit that contested 3 in CJ's face, that was a great defensive possession. I thought our rotations were great on that. Our communication was great on that. And then they hit a tough contested 3. See, if they hit shots like that all game long, then I'll be like, yes, Terry, they just made shots. You made them shoot very tough shots, played good defense, they still hit shots. That's where you say, okay, they hit shots, you know, on a possession like that. But that's what's frustrating. Is just like we see it work. Just like, you know, I felt like during this game when we actually, you know, didn't settle and tried to work for a good shot, we got good shots. That's what makes it so frustrating when they go straight away from that to a possession, need one stop to win the game, and CJ switches on PG. And then they foul PG. It's just like, do you guys not see what's been working the whole entire time? Why are you switching there? It's just so silly. And same thing with just the shot selection there in the fourth. It's frustrating. That's why I'm so frustrated about this loss.
And if that happens with Dame, they switch one of their worst defenders onto him and don't double team him. We're like, thank you, right? And so, but the good teams, the teams that take him out of those plays, are usually the teams that beat us because they will make, you know, Zubac or you know, Marcus Morris or someone hit a shot versus Paul George getting the game-winning shots. And I felt like we should have done – we knew Paul George was going to want to take that last shot, and I felt like we should have made Reggie Jackson or someone else beat us. Even though he just hit a 3 towards the end with – the shot clock running down, and we had great defense, and he had a guy in his face. But, like, I just feel like in those situations, just sell out to stop Paul George, and if someone else makes a tough shot, then you live with it. But I felt like we were actually, like, trapping him and then still getting out on shooters and still recovering on the backside. So, and it was with, I mean, they went small without Cantor in there, which was nice as – I'll fade this into Andrew Miller's next $5 donation. He says Naz and Rondé worked their butts off. Props to those two. It was cool to see those guys get rewarded by being able to finish this game. So that was nice to see. But I just wish they would have been a little more aggressive, because we always talk about or we always hear that in games they play really well on defense. Well, we were aggressive tonight, right? And I felt like they were doing that, and then at the end they just like kind of got unaggressive and like just let Paul George dictate the end of the game there. So I'd like it to be the opposite, where maybe even if you aren't aggressive to that point, be super aggressive in those last possessions and sell out there to stop it.
Yeah, or just stick with what's working. Like, it's so dumb to me to see that work and then go away from it on the final possession and just switch instead of trap that pick. It's just so, like, as you said, make somebody else beat you. And the thing is yeah, we were getting out on shooters and we were slowing down Paul George for the most part in that fourth quarter. It's just like, why? I don't know. I just don't get it. There's just stuff like that happens with this team, and it's frustrating. It's like every time you feel like they're making progress, they take a step back, whether it be in this game, on a couple possessions in the final 2 minutes that help us lose, or, I wouldn't be shocked we come out next game and run drop scheme. Now, maybe we can get away with it because Denver has, like, no guards without Jamal Murray, and they trade Gary Harris, and so maybe you can get away with it against Denver, but I guess he's coming out super stagnant, even though we have Nurkic back and his playmaking, and just running drop scheme the whole time. I mean, like, that's what I always expect this team to go back to. So it was nice that they ran something else defensively. This is why me and you have said they need to mix things up defensively, because that defense against the Clippers was far better than the defense we saw the first 2 games against the Clippers. Now, I know they had Kawhi, but even when Kawhi wasn't in the game, they were just torching us constantly. So it was nice to see us actually slow them down because we ran something different.
And that's why the shot selection leading up to the clutch situation was a little frustrating for me, is because they had a pretty bad lineup in there at the start of the fourth quarter, and they left Paul George on the bench for a pretty long time. And I felt like we just played right into their hands and let them stay close enough to get this win tonight, because we weren't pressuring or trying to get to the rim or anything. We were settling for too many ISO contested jumpers.
Yeah. So, what else team-wise do you want to talk about in this game?
I think we can get into the players. I'm just looking up if Monte Morris is going to play tomorrow night. It doesn't look like he's going to play. So no Murray, no Monte Morris. I
don't have the graphics for this, so I would just say any player you want to bring up is fair game. That we haven't gone in depth on already.
Yep.
I feel like we've already talked a lot about CJ, a lot about Carmelo. Is there anything you want to say about either of those guys?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I want to see with CJ is a little more. I'll say it once again. I'll keep saying it until I see it. When he's the point guard, I feel like he needs to do a better job of being the point guard and distributing. We've seen that in years past when he's been there. We've seen it this year, especially before his injury, him making what seemed to be a concerted effort to pass the ball and get others involved. You look back at this game, and I feel like all our bad possessions were ones where we didn't pass at all, or we passed one time and it was to ISO someone or post up Melo or CJ to just dribble and go one-on-one at someone. And I don't like that that's how we end up losing a game when the other stuff is working. And you hear all the time like, oh, that's what they're best at. That's what they should be doing, But I think time and time again, they show that when they move the ball and they have nice designs in their sets and they find the open person or they drive and dump. Powell's been pretty good at that. You saw Derrick Jones have one to Cantor tonight where he drove and had a nice little wraparound pass to him for a lay-in. I just wish they would attack more and get easy buckets that way. You saw the Clippers, when they attacked, got easy lay-ins after easy lay-ins, it seemed like, or they always found the hole in the defense, or they a couple times. It didn't really hurt us as bad, obviously, as the Hornets game, but the couple times they did try to push the tempo, I felt like they got an easy bucket out of it, and I wish we would try to get just a few more easy buckets throughout the game, and CJ is a big part of that. You can tell the possessions where he's not going to pass, and it hasn't really worked out well for him since he's come back from the injury, doing it that way.
Yeah, I agree with that. Other than CJ and Melo, Norman Powell, 23 points, 3 assists tonight, 10 for 20 from the field, 3 for 10 from 3, 7 for 10 inside the arc. Did not get to the free throw line, surprisingly, but he did attack the rim multiple times this game, had a nice up and under finish. I mean, this is what we traded for Norman Powell to do, not just be a three-point shooter, to be a guy who can attack the rim as well, and he did a good job of it tonight. He's been playing well with Dame out. Hopefully it continues with Dame back. I like that he had 20 shots. I like that he made 10 of them. Played 39 minutes. That's a ton of minutes on the first night of a back-to-back. With how good Anthony was in this game, I feel like you probably should have gotten it down around 35, 36 minutes. Because once you go past 36 minutes, you're wearing a guy out. Generally, you try and cap minutes at 36. So on the first night of a back-to-back, it would have been nice to maybe, play him 35, 36 minutes instead of 39. I know it doesn't seem like a big deal, but with Anthony playing as well as he did, we didn't need to play him 39 minutes. But he played well in those 39 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be something that's going to be on the forefront of my mind until it either happens or it doesn't happen, and I'm mad about it. But I want this guy to be a Blazer for a long time. I really hope we go all out to keep this guy. Even if we don't trade CJ and keep Dame and CJ, I still think Powell can be a major part of our team. And I just really want to keep this guy. I feel like he's could be a key piece to us taking that next step in future years.
Yep. Other than Powell, you had the next highest scorer was Anthony. Let's talk about him. He's been shooting the ball really, really well. Played 19 minutes, had 13 points, 3 steals, an assist, a rebound. Had an extremely nice drive on Paul George and a good left-handed finish. That was nice to see against one of the better defenders in the NBA. But right now, I mean, he's a three-point shooter, but he's been shooting well, stepping up, getting playing time with Dame out. I just wonder, I mean, some of these minutes have to get cut once Dame comes back. I'm wondering if it's going to be Derrick Jones Jr. and Stotz is going to play Nas and Anthony. Because I think out of Derrick Jones Jr., Nas, and Anthony, one of those three guys are going to get their minutes cut. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. You wonder how many minutes Hollis Jefferson will get after a performance like this, if that earns him a spot in the rotation or at least a shot moving forward. Or if, I mean, I guess Stotz could do it to where he brings in like Melo and Nas like he did tonight halfway through the first quarter, and then just then bring in two different wings at the beginning of the second quarter, and who's ever playing the best out of those 4 or 6 if you include the starters and get the minutes moving forward, I guess. I don't know. But maybe that is one thing I'd like to say about Stotz tonight is I do appreciate when he gives the minutes to the people who are seemingly earning it. With the exception of Rocco is the only one I would say probably should have played more than 22 minutes in this game.
And should have gotten more shots. He only shoots 1 3. He's shooting 39% from 3. Well, you're not able to get him more shots when the whole team is shooting 32% from 3. I think that's questionable.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, other than that, because, I don't know, it's not a question of, I mean, obviously the coach is questioning Derrick Jones Jr.'s energy and impact on the game, and that's the likely person that's going to get cut based on what Stotz has said in the recent weeks. But I don't feel like Robert Covington is playing bad. I mean, he's just not getting shots the last few games. I mean, that's been, I guess, pretty consistent all year where he hasn't shot a ton of shots in any game, really. But
didn't fans just want a forward that teams guarded at the 3-point line and didn't let shoot, right? Because when Aminu shot that 43% of that Pelicans series, they were still blaming him, saying, oh, well, defenses just don't respect him enough, so he doesn't draw enough attention. Well, defenses are really respecting Robert Covington because he's been pretty locked down. Now, we should run more plays with him. That's kind of my beef with the Blazers in regards to him not getting enough shots, but it's also a product of defenses respect him and pay attention to him. Isn't that what a lot of people wanted? You know, but I don't know. It was a flawed narrative from the get-go with Aminu. It's just funny now because we got a guy who gets a ton of attention at the three-point line, and I feel like because of that, he doesn't get many shots, and those people underrate him.
According to, Josh Brewer says Covington is trash. And then 50EXB says Rocco passes up on wide open shots. He does it all the time. Am I not watching the same games?
I don't know. People are coming out left field with stuff right now. I mean, anybody saying Covington is trash, you're just exposing yourself for not knowing much about basketball. I'm sorry, but that's a terrible take. But he doesn't pass up open shots.
It seems to me when he catches the ball, he usually has a defender up on him or he's shooting it. So yeah, I don't really see him getting the ball much where he's open and passing up shots. Or I think it's actually the opposite. When he's open, he almost always shoots, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. So I don't know where that's coming from. And honestly, like I don't know what people expect. I mean, these same people probably wanted Aaron Gordon. He's been absolutely horrendous shooting the ball from three since he went to Denver. Last I looked, he was like 8 for 31 or something like that. And those are on almost entirely wide open threes. And I saw some Denver guy being like, Gordon's getting such good looks eventually when his shooting starts falling and he starts shooting like he's capable of. This is going to be so good for our offense. It's like you realize he's not that good of a shooter historically. So but so this is the problem, and this is why the personnel people keep contradicting themselves, and it's driving me absolutely insane. It's because like you want a guy who's 3-and-D. So we get Robert Covington. He's shooting 39% from three, like you said. He's playing, he's a good defender, whether he's good in our system or not. He's a good defender. He doesn't just go from being one of the better defenders thought of wise in the NBA to like garbage or trash or whatever. So like we have this guy and he's having, people think he sucks or whatever. It's like, what do you want? Like we have an offense that's set up to only make isolation and pick and roll shots. Unless his guy is leaving him open and our penetrators kick out to him, the offense does nothing to get him shots. So like, I don't know what people want or expect. And then they so we get that 3-and-D guy, and then all of a sudden everyone's like, oh, the roster is trash. We need a guy who can pass the ball and create shots. It's like, yeah, because their offense is trash. It's like we only need that because our offense is horrible, and we're one of the worst in terms of cuts to the basket, passes, potential assists, ball movement, all the metrics that you can do to design how much like movement an offense has are all either last or like very last. So it doesn't make sense to me that people just want like someone like Aaron Gordon, who would be absolutely terrible in Stotts' offense this year. And then if we would have traded for Aaron Gordon instead of Robert Covington last offseason, we would be hearing all these same people saying, oh, look at what, like, let's say Denver traded for Robert Covington instead. They'd be like, look at Denver, they got Robert Covington for such little, and we gave up all this crap for Aaron Gordon, and he sucks, he does not even do anything. Olshey can't identify talent and get him in trades. And then they'd be like, I wish we had the Robert Covington because look at how good he is. Yep. And that's exactly what's happening right now. Well, and anyone out there talking about the personnel, I want you guys to look very closely. Go look at their old tweets and all this stuff talking about how, every time we make a move or something, good move, good trade or whatever, good move. And then when things go wrong because they got proven wrong, and Tori and I were right all season about the Blazers, by the way, but when they got proven wrong that once these guys came back from injuries, nothing would change, they have to come up with a new narrative to explain why that is. And now all of a sudden they've all turned on CJ, they've all turned on Olshey, and you didn't hear any of that crap earlier in the season. So it just drives me crazy. I just get so mad. I sometimes have to just turn Twitter off because like these same people just contradict themselves constantly. And it's like, it's always about, well, Minnesota traded for Jimmy Butler. Like, we didn't have a chance to trade for Jimmy Butler. Like, when he went to Miami too, like he was going to sign with them. They had to do a sign and trade. We had no chance to do that. He chose Miami, and they made it work. Like, I don't know. It's just like we don't know if San Antonio would have accepted CJ McCollum and his contract for Kawhi Leonard. Like, no one knows that kind of stuff. And it's just, it drives me crazy that people just automatically assume that Dame and CJ can't win ever in the NBA because the roster is trash. And then it got people today telling me like, they have to have good personnel around them. And I'm like, well, no crap. They need good defenders around them. But like, I hear people say that they can't ever be a good defensive team. And those same people defend Stotz as a good defensive coach because he was like, he had the 8th best defense a few years ago. And it's like, well, Dame and CJ were on those teams. Like, you can't have it both ways. You can't say Stotz is a good coach because he had the 8th rated defense, but then also say that Dame and CJ can't ever be good defensively on a team. It's just contradictory, and it drives me crazy. And all these personnel things, like these people think you can just take CJ and trade him for any person you want in the league, and unless you trade him for like Kawhi Leonard or something, you're not good. Or trade Nurk and Evan Turner for LeBron James 3 years ago. Why didn't we do that? It drives me crazy. People don't understand how basketball teams work and how the NBA works, and it's basically all coming down to people have turned on CJ and they don't want him on the team anymore, and they think Olshey is a horrible GM because he won't trade CJ. When I don't even know if those people are right. And then if we're bad, if we trade CJ, and even if we got an elite wing and we still had problems, like I don't know. It's like, I'm sorry, I'm going off on a tangent, but like it's just driving me crazy.
Yeah, no, I mean we talk about it. We talk about it a lot. I think a lot of people in here feel the same way we do and see through it. Yeah, I mean, people want Olshey to do stuff that they don't know is possible, and they harp on the grass is always greener, essentially, when a guy's not on our team. Before a guy ends up on our team, he's better than he is once he's on our team, man, because you'd have people saying, Olshey didn't learn his lesson with forwards that can't shoot. Why did he go out and get Aaron Gordon, who's a career 33% three-point shooter? He didn't learn his lesson from Aminu and Harkless. That would be the narrative right now. And in our isolation offense, people will be pulling their hair out while Aaron Gordon isolates and doesn't even have anybody to pass to, so tries to score one-on-one, because that's really not his game, and it's just clunky. Yeah, I mean, that's how it'd be. So, I mean, people are going to cherry-pick what they want to cherry-pick to fit the narrative that they want it to fit, and there's a lot of people out there that say that they'll end up being objective, but don't have it in them to do so. Shout out Definitive One, $5 donation, says, is it just me, or is Legacy Melo forever directing somebody on defense while he's lounging like a Hall of Famer, asking for a friend? Well, I'd just say this, if he's going to lounge like a Hall of Famer, at least communicate. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want him lounging like a Hall of Famer, but if he's going to lounge on defense, at least communicate and help somehow. Appreciate the donation from Definitive One. Do you see that, Eric?
We know Melo's not the greatest defender. I feel like at times he's been acceptable on defense. I don't know. It's so tough because we go up, 5. I think when CJ hits that 3, and at that point, it's almost like when you're up 2 scores late in the game. I mean, I've said this about Dame and CJ, so I'm not just pointing out this for Melo, but I don't know. I just wish we put in like all our defenders. Like that's when you put in Rocco. That's when you put in Derrick Jones and have Derrick Jones, Nas, Rondé Hollis-Jefferson all in the game in those situations. And then if they still score, at least we can say we went down with our best defensive lineups in the game.
Yeah, well, it's like Melo shooting 5 for 18. Why is he still in the game? What is he providing when he's not shooting well? Like, put in Rocco there to be the small ball center, not Melo. Down the stretch, that was driving me crazy. It's like dude's forcing all these bad shots, and put in Rocco. Complete the defensive lineup. Pressure even a little bit more. Maybe we get an extra stop. And Melo didn't really hit a shot the final 7 minutes of that quarter. It's not like we would have been hurt on the offensive end. Maybe we could have gotten Rocco.
I think he hit one.
Yeah, maybe one shot. I'm sure Rocco could hit one shot. I mean, the question is, can we run a dang play for him to get him one shot? Because the dude's been shooting phenomenal from 3. It's like Stotz doesn't know what to do with forwards that can actually shoot well on a high volume. It's like either post up Melo or isolate him, and that's it. None of the actions we've talked about for him. And then with Rocco, it's like, all right, well, just stand off ball, and hopefully for you get a kick out pass. No plays for him. He hasn't adapted to the fact that he has better forwards now than he used to. No lobs, very few lob sets for Nas, very few lob sets for Derrick Jones Jr. He hasn't adapted to the forwards he's been given, in my opinion.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Shout out JM, $5 donation, says, all I can do to stomach every loss is say that maybe it is one step closer to Olshey firing Stotz. Thanks for doing the stream despite the rough times. Appreciate it, JM. I don't know if my energy seems down today. I just got my vaccine today, so I'm just worn out. And then this game just triggered me. So that's kind of why my energy will probably seem, pretty down. I'm just grinding through it, though. Appreciate the donation. Appreciate the support. Yeah. As far as firing Stotz, I don't know. I might rant about him wanting him gone, but I'm not really going to discuss it I'm not really going to discuss it too heavily in terms of his firing until after the season, because it's not going to happen until after the season. But I do agree, that is kind of the silver lining with losses.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he has the last 3 games we played without Dame excuse. I'm kind of, I don't know. Worried isn't the right word, but what if Dame and Nurk come back and we go on a run at the end of the season? I'd be happy, but I just hope that this guy isn't given a pass for everything else. Yeah. I think we pretty much touched on everyone. Unless you want to specifically talk about Derrick Jones, who's once again 2 for 3 from 2-pointer and 0 for 3 from threes. Took half his shots from 3-point line.
Yeah, I just realized that I was muted for a bit. So anyway, I already fixed
the
chat. Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
That was so insightful too.
Yeah, I didn't say anything important. You guys didn't miss anything.
Did the donos get heard? Or
yeah, it was chat didn't start talking until I had already unmuted myself. So obviously it wasn't too long, because you know how it gets. Muted. I don't even know why I muted. I didn't even have a reason to mute. I didn't type or anything. Oh wait, no, it was when I typed to Ryan Clare, because he was talking about 90% lower T, and I was curious what he meant by that. So who are you talking about? Sorry, the muted thing distracted me.
I said Derrick Jones plays 20 minutes tonight. Shoots 6 shots, half of them for threes. 2 for 3 from 2 points, and 0 for 3 from 3-point line.
Yep, he's a 3-point shooter now. We turned Derrick Jones into a 3-point shooter. Would you look at that?
Oh, I was told he's shooting the same amount of threes he was in Miami, even though I have proof that they're not.
I mean, I'll bring up. God, I hate when people just say stuff that they could easily look up in literally 10 seconds. All right, let's see how long this takes me to look up. Well, I bet you I can have his 3-point rate in the next 15 seconds. Derrick Jones Jr. stats. Bang. Basketball Reference. That's the go-to spot for stats, by the way. Basketball Reference. Already on this page.
I told you I was working on an article about it, so yeah, it was like, yeah.
My computer is like freezing up, so it's taking a little longer.
It's rough. I want to say it's like 7.5%, 8% higher this year is 3-point rate than 2-point rate.
Yeah, I mean, if this page would load, I should have done it on my phone. There we go. My computer's been slower lately. It's frustrating. Yeah, 3-point attempt rate, 48% last season, 45% this season, and I think it's climbing. That's the thing, too.
37.8 last year, 45. I think I said 48.
I said 38? Maybe I said 48. I don't know. But, like, I want to see... Do they
But
have
I was told that's okay because his effective field goal percentage is the same.
I mean, get this dude some dunks. The dude is having a career high year from 3, shooting 33%. That doesn't mean you want him shooting threes instead of dunks. He shoots 62% from 2. Okay? In terms of points per shot, that's 1.2. No, that's... I can't do math. Yeah, that's 1.24 points per shot. For threes, he's giving you 0.99 points per shot. Okay? Twos are far more efficient for him to shoot. Okay? So... his effective field goal percentage being the same, so it's okay if he shoots a ton of threes. No, because it would be higher if they just got him more twos. If they ran a lob play for him, if they utilized him as a cutter more, if they just utilized him properly. So, yeah, I don't... Like, that argument just doesn't even make any sense.
And then we've specifically heard Stotz say time and time again that their plan this year was to shoot a ton of threes and shoot as many threes as possible, right? So yeah, it's like, I don't know. And then people wonder, I heard this excuse today too, which is partly true, but our defense is horrible because we take so many threes and they lead to long rebounds and them going the other way. Well, then maybe you shouldn't be shooting threes then. Like at what point do you want to balance that out and help your defense out a little bit if that's the main reason?
But that's also not the reason our defense sucks.
No, I know. I'm just placating to if they actually...
Yeah, dude, we've had to pick apart 500 different arguments for why our defense sucks this year because people have come up with the most wild of theories. The wildest theories.
Blockboy has a good post there. He says, we're the only team with dunk champions who don't dunk. Just chuck up threes.
Yep. It's like, I don't know, imagine if we had a 3-point champ, he would probably just dunk instead. But see, that's better than having dunk champs that only shoot threes, you know? I'd rather have a guy dunking the ball. I'd rather have an offense that dunks the ball 100% of the time than shoots threes 100% of the time with 40% 3-point shooters. Because dunks are going to be far more efficient. You know what I mean? Like, you could have a 50% 3-point shooter. He's going to be more efficient on dunks. You know? Like, dunks are the most efficient shot you can get in the game of basketball. And it's almost... And we got some athletes, and we don't try and get them in positions where they can dunk the basketball. So, it's frustrating.
And I do agree there are times where a bad shot, like Blockboy and E. Gibson are mentioning, CJ's bad 3 did lead to Paul George getting out on the break and getting a lay-in. So those kind of possessions are terrible on both ends, and we don't like that. But you know what? I think it's a lot easier to get back on defense after a dunk from Derrick Jones than it is him bricking a 3. So,
yeah. Yep. Shout out Jimmy Cleveland, $5 dono. Sorry I missed you guys, but I'm impressed with our efforts. Just got off work. Appreciate you, man. Good to see you in here. Ryan Clare is on some self-righteous stuff in chat, saying, you called me a donkey. We'll go with that. for saying to trade CJ and Nurkic for a legit power forward / center, elevate Trent, and fire Stotz pre-bubble last year. Well, I think it's dumb whenever people say, trade CJ and Nurkic for a power forward. Who? And then I have people saying, oh, Jeremy Grant. Well, they're not doing that. They're not trading Jeremy Grant. They basically have acted like he's untouchable, all right? Like, and then every name they throw out is just something that wouldn't be able to happen. But since it doesn't happen, they blame Olshey when the other team wouldn't even trade him for what we'd be offering. You know what I mean? Oh. So that whole thing, like, who? Come up with something that actually makes sense. Until then, it's just silly to even say that. It's ridiculous.
And, well, first of all, in between a month before the postponement of the season last year was the trade deadline. So after February, 6th or 7th, I think it was, they couldn't trade CJ and Nurk, and they couldn't trade him leading up to the bubble. And I guess they could have traded him in the offseason. But he says, welcome CJ to the 42, 25, 75 club. Like, CJ is shooting 25%. Like, consistently from three.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a dumb take, too.
I mean, yeah, he said pretty obvious who's been consistently wrong. Yeah, you. Not me. Not us. We've been spot on all season long. We've been calling it. Like, everything that's played out, we have called. I think we've been spot on this year. More than last year, even. I think we have been as spot on as you could possibly get. But I don't know. Maybe that's just me being too confident. I'll let you decide that. I don't really care if you feel that way or not.
So Josh says the league is primarily shooting threes. How do we compete with a bunch of twos? Well, first of all, we're second in the league. Well, I think at one point we moved into first in terms of number of threes. So we're not saying to shoot all twos, even though Torrey was making a joke about dunking versus threes every time.
I'm just saying it's a more efficient shot, even if you have a great three-point shooter. Dunking is still more efficient. That was my entire point.
We're just saying that in a case like Derrick Jones, this guy is super efficient around the rim and finishes well. Like, he should be getting more than 3 shots around the rim, and less than half his shots, in my opinion, should be 3-pointers.
Yeah.
And instead, he just kind of camps at the 3-point line most of the time.
But Eric, apparently if you say they should try and get more high-quality shots around the rim, that means that they can't shoot threes. Right? Because, I mean, why do people think so black and white with every argument? I'm saying I want us to get drop a couple plays for Derrick Jones Jr. on like a backdoor alley-oop, maybe a cut to get him a clean, efficient look around the rim because he's a good finisher. How does that turn into, how are we going to compete in a league that shoots threes when we only shoot twos? Like, it's, I don't get it, man. That's not what I'm saying, and you know it. Man, I'm beefing with chat today, but screw it. Why not?
Yeah. Okay. You know what else I heard today, Tori?
Yeah.
That Stotz deserves both blame and credit because a center determines if his defense is good or not.
Wait. Huh?
Someone actually tried to say that.
Blame and credit for the same thing?
Because it's good when he has the right pieces for it, but it's bad when it's not. So I mentioned, he said that it was bad under Plumlee because he's a bad defensive center. And I was like, well, because Plumlee is perfect for trapping and pressuring and being aggressive, and we dropped him. And he said that was his point, that his skill set didn't match what Stotz wanted him to do on defense. So basically he's saying if we would have traded CJ for Anthony Davis, that we would have just dropped him and that would have been okay with everyone because Stotz defense works when he has a center. It made no sense to me, but
yeah, I mean, just add another one onto the pile of takes that we randomly have to speak out against. It's just silly, man. But
Mills Woj,
$10 dono. So CJ needs to attack the rim more. His float game is nice with his left and right hand. He can finish strong. It would make us way harder to guard, especially when we go small. I agree with that. He was shooting a good percentage inside the arc. He struggled from 3. It kind of tapered off near the end in both both regards, but he did shoot 8 for 14 inside the arc. That's better than 50%. Got to the line 4 times, which is more than normal for CJ. It's not a lot, but it's more than normal for him. So, yeah, I would have liked to see him attack a little bit more. That's why it's frustrating when he shoots contested pull-up jumpers early in the clock, because he was having success attacking the rim.
Yep.
So, probably going to wrap up the stream in the next 10 minutes, if you're cool with that, Eric.
Sure.
Because we got another stream tomorrow. I'm tired because of this vaccine. What have we not touched on from this game that you want to touch
on? Not much from the game. It's just hopefully they come out and get a W tomorrow night.
Yep. Ryan Clare's been permabanned. Have a good rest of your night, kiddo. Don't insult people in chat, especially us. So I mean, go find your burner account or something and come back and be weird and strange in chat. You can go ahead and do that, but we'll just ban you again. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, chat, you got a couple toxic people in chat, and I'm just not playing it anymore, especially right now. But so what else do you want to touch on, or what else is left?
I'll just have some advice for anyone who has questions like Ryan. We have hundreds of hours of video for you to go watch, and we prove our point and back up our statements every time. So for you to call us out for not backing anything up or having a low basketball IQ, I think we've proven time and time again that we at least know the game of basketball. It's all there for you to go back and listen to. Maybe you might learn something. So come back in a few months once you've watched all that, and maybe you'll be a little smarter.
We are not pulling shots tonight. I don't care, and I'm glad that Eric hopped on board that train. Joel Dandy says, "How's y'all day going?" My day was going good. Now I'm just this game is frustrating, and yeah, energy is just. Man, my arm's still a little sore. It wasn't as bad as I thought. Not really dealing with any side effects from it, so I'm happy about that. I'm just tired. They aren't lying when they say it wipes you out, man. Yeah.
Someone asked, Kyle Wilson asked, what do you want the 49ers to do with the third pick?
Justin Fields or Trey Lance, just no Mac Jones. That's all I gotta say. And this is coming from A. Jones, no Mac Jones. Give me a dual threat QB. I probably want Justin Fields, honestly. What about you?
I'm still mad they traded up to 3.
Really?
Yeah.
That's surprising to me. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if they make the right pick and they get their QB of the future, they're set, I think.
Yeah, but I don't think any of the QBs outside of Lawrence are necessarily the QB of the future. I mean, I trust Lynch and Shanahan, so that's why I'm not like totally going crazy against it. But yeah, I almost would have rather moved up to like 5 or 6 and gotten like Penei Sewell or Slater or something, and fortified our offensive line.
Yeah.
But
for me, it's
I feel like if we take Mac Jones or Justin Fields, like there's a chance they might have slipped, and we wouldn't have had to give up so much to get them to. We wouldn't have had to move all the way up to 3 to get Mac Jones or whatever.
Yeah, I feel like they're all going top 10. Here's the thing: if we draft somebody that can quickly be as good as Jimmy Garoppolo, which I don't think is that high of a bar, it clears up money. Because we get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo, we got somebody who can replace his production on a much cheaper contract. You can use that money to go out and reinforce other areas of the team. So that's also why I'm cool with the trade, and it's exciting going up to the draft to see who we'll take.
Yeah.
Anyway, this turned it into 49ers Uprise. But yeah, the Blazers end up losing tonight. We'll have you covered on the postgame show tomorrow, the Denver game. That postgame show will be a little bit longer, most likely. Hopefully we're talking about a win. The Blazers have been playing bad lately. They've been losing a lot of games. It's the doldrums of the season, but we saw it coming. We predicted this. We said the schedule is going to get harder. If they can't beat good teams, they're going to lose a lot of games because they're playing good teams. would you look at this? I mean, hopefully they're able to figure some things out. It's nice that they're competitive. It's nice that this game was somewhat entertaining. But they got to figure out a way to beat good teams if they want to stay in the 6th seed at this point. They are currently... Let me pull up the standings really quick. The Mavericks didn't play tonight, did they?
I don't think so.
The Mavericks did not play today. Knicks beat Hornets, Hawks beat Magic, Nets beat Pelicans, Timberwolves beat Kings. None of those games are really relevant to the Blazers. The Blazers, of course, lost, fall to 32-25. Our record doesn't seem that good anymore, men. The Blazers have lost 7 out of their last 10 now. They are only a game and a half ahead of 7th. They are only 3.5 games ahead of 10th right now. So, I mean, if they can't figure things out against good teams, they're going to end up in a play-in situation. They might miss the first round of the playoffs. There's a chance that happens with the way this team is playing right now. Not trying to be pessimistic. I'm trying to be realistic, and it's very possible. Dallas has a super easy schedule the rest of the way. Extremely easy schedule. We have a very hard schedule. They're only 1 game behind us in the loss column. It's going to be hard to hang on to 6th unless we can figure things out. All right. Bye. Have fun making another account, homie. I love it when people like come back on burner after burner after burner, like make a new account. They're spending so much time in the create YouTube account setup just to say something that gets deleted in 5 seconds. It's kind of funny. I take enjoyment in that, actually. They just have to try and say something to us, so they're spending all that time setting up accounts, and they come in here, and it's just like, you're gone, like that. Bye.
You gotta love, like, name one coach a team that ever changed their coach and had a better winning percentage, and you name one thing, and then he's like,
this year's Atlanta Hawks.
That doesn't count.
Yep. Yeah, so he should have just stopped there, but some people don't learn their lessons, so, I mean, the dude needs to go get a life, or a girlfriend or something. He needs to figure something out, because hating on us is not the way to go about your night. If you roll with us, you're a real one, and we appreciate you, and we appreciate the support. A lot of you guys in here that have been very supportive of us. The post-game shows a little lately. I mean, when the team goes and struggles like this, it's... it's not as easy necessarily to pump out a good post-game show. It's very easy when we win games against good teams. It's so easy to do post-game shows and be excited and whatnot. Post-game show like this is tough, so we appreciate that. You guys support us. Gordon says, I also need a girlfriend too. That's honestly facts. I mean, this pandemic's almost over. I'll work on it, man. I promise you. I know you guys want me to start like a family vlog channel on the side. I know you want some more, some stuff like that. So I'm working on it. I'll let you know once my girlfriend is casted as a actor in that show.
Gordon says to give you some intros, but man, I don't know a lot of 24-year-old girls, and the girls that I know that are younger than that are my daughter's age, and that's just weird.
I don't need help, man.
So I'm not the best person to... Tori's fine. He doesn't need my help.
Is there a Tori Jr.? Dang, who leaked that? I'm going to have to tighten up some sources, so... because can't get that spreading, if you know what I mean. Anyway.
No.
What? Yeah.
Nothing. Wait, just to get this back on track.
I thought we were going to outro.
No, I just want to address something really quick. What seed were the 76ers last year?
6th, I think.
I believe they decided to move on from their head coach and brought in a different coach, right?
Yeah, now they're the 1st seed, Eric.
But apparently that never works. So
I don't know, man. That's confusing to me. I mean, the Knicks.
The Knicks,
look at the Knicks this year. I mean,
they were so good last year. I can't believe they fired their coach and would bring in a guy like Tom Thibodeau, and now they really suck.
Yeah, I mean
that's just crazy. Man.
The Nets too. I mean, obviously, other circumstances, but I mean, 4 of the top 5 teams in the East have gotten rid of their coaches and then done better after they've gotten new coaches in the past year. So,
did you mention Atlanta?
Yeah, Atlanta's the 4th place team. You got Atlanta, you got New York, you got Brooklyn, you got Philadelphia. That's 4 of the top 5 teams in the East. So, yeah, that's I don't know. I mean, the Clippers are about the same. There's really none of those teams in the West, but a lot of those teams have kept their coaches. Yeah, just weird how people throw out narratives without anything to back it up, and when it's easily dismissible.
I mean, the Lakers last year switched to Vogel from Luke Walton or whatever, and they went up.
Yeah. You know,
but
might have been AD, but you know.
But I mean, he's going to throw qualifiers on it, but yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, there's a ton of examples with the same personnel too. So I don't understand that. You know, it's easy to dispel that notion, and there's nothing to back up that argument. So, I mean, we'll continue to dismantle poor arguments like that. So, anyway, anything you have left to say on this one, Eric?
No, thank you everyone for tuning in. Appreciate it, even after a tough loss. And right back at it tomorrow night. Hope you guys enjoy the game. And
12
hope
games.
You guys tune in.
12 games in 21 days, Eric. We're going to be streaming a lot, man.
Yep.
And then, you know, maybe we won't be streaming for playoffs. I don't know. Hopefully we are. Hopefully we're able to figure things out. But yeah, I mean, we got a lot of tough games coming up that we're going to have to win in order to avoid a play-in scenario. So anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for making us a part of your night. We will catch you tomorrow on the post-game show. Until then, we'll see you later. As always, peace out. Go Blazers.
Oh, wait.
What? Oh, Stacey E. Well, Stacey E. just extended this. There goes the outro. Shout out Stacey E. for the $112 donation. All right,
crap.
We'll
What's
stream.
up, Stacey? How are you doing tonight?
I love the timing on that. That's awesome. Yeah, you just woke me up a little bit. I don't know. I sound weak with all my vaccine. I have no energy, but I am just so dead. That's honestly why it's a short stream. But that woke me up a little bit. I appreciate it. Stacy, $112 donation says the struggle is real. I got nothing. I've been waiting for the best post-game show ever. This is just a tribute and an L. Oof. If you don't support this channel for their free ball deep thoughts devoid of corporate propaganda and Reddit Karens, go screw yourself. Love. Stacey always has the best messages with them too. She kills it with the donations. She's awesome. It's been a while since I've seen a good old Stacey donation, and it kind of made this post game stream for me. So I appreciate it, Stacey. Yeah, I mean, we devoid of corporate propaganda and Reddit Karens, Eric. That's what we are.
Yeah. Intro Stacey to Tori.
No. Gordon, I'm going to put you in a 5-minute timeout for that one. But yeah.
Yeah, Stacey's awesome. Not just, you don't have to dono, but it would be nice to see you around more often, Stacey.
Yeah. We'll give you a shout out if you just come in and say hi in chat at this point. So appreciate the dono, though. Right when I was signing off, you hit the abort button on my outro. But yeah, we are gonna go. Good to end the stream off nice. Appreciate it, Stacy. Can't say that enough. And appreciate all you. Appreciate the mods, Zach, Trevin, and Reese. Almost forgot Reese. Oh man, see, I told you I'm tired, man. I never have problems with that one. Yeah, I just need to sign off here. So anyway, thank you for tuning in. We will catch you on the post game show tomorrow. Until then, hope you have a good rest of your night and a good day tomorrow, and we'll catch you then. So until next time, as always, peace out. Go Blazers.